Hey guys, HuneyBaked here. Today we are going to be making some absolutely delicious, yummy protein bars that I love to eat as a sweet treat. They have great macros in them, they're nice and cold, and they really fulfill that sweet craving that you're always craving when you're on a diet or anything like that. So this recipe comes from Greg Doucette. He is a professional bodybuilder and nutrition specialist as well. He has a lot of great recipes that are super low calories and have great macros in them, but also really taste good, and especially some sweet treats that really help fill those cravings that you have. So today we have all of these products that we're going to be using in our protein bars. I'm going to go over them a little bit and kind of talk to you about them and tell you my personal preferences on everything. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is this VitaFiber. This is a sweetener that Greg recommends, and it's sourced from natural pea starch. It's a really thick product, and it's just a tiny bit sweet. And we're going to be using about 2.5 cups of the VitaFiber. We're also going to use protein powder today. This is the protein powder that Greg Doucette recommends. He loves this protein powder. This is a peanut butter cup flavor, and I have used this in protein shakes and in the protein bars. And for my personal preference, I actually prefer this brand a little bit more. Greg loves his treats and everything super, super, super sweet, and I have used this one and tried it, and it's just absolutely way too sweet for me. And he does say that he likes his things very sweet. So I prefer to use this brand, like a milk chocolate. This is a chocolate malt. There's also like a dark chocolate one that I use. And this is just, it's a little bit less sweet, which is just my personal preference. We're going to use about 10 to 11 scoops of the protein powder today. And I have noticed, between using these two different protein powders, the scoop in this protein powder is a little bit bigger. So when I made this one with this protein powder, since the scoops were bigger and the scoops I put in the mixture were larger, I did notice that the more protein powder you put into the bars, the harder they get when you freeze them. So another thing for your own personal preference, if you want them a little bit harder, which Greg Doucette likes them a little bit harder, it takes a little bit longer to eat it, so it kind of fulfills that craving that you get of something to eat and kind of tricks you into filling you up a little bit more. I personally prefer them to be just a little bit less chewy, so the scoops in this one are smaller, so we're still going to use the same amount of scoops, but if you use this protein powder that Greg recommends and you use the bigger scoop, they're going to be a little bit harder. We're also going to be using PB Fit. I absolutely love this. So when I first made the protein bars, I forgot to get some PB Fit, and I used regular peanut butter, and I also tried them with a chocolate peanut butter. And the peanut butter definitely made the bars a little bit stickier, and peanut butter is very, very high in calories. So it's definitely something, the PB Fit, that you want to get to use in your protein bars so that you can make them lower in calories. 60 grams of PB Fit. We're also going to use cocoa powder. Another personal preference, I prefer dark chocolate cocoa powder. I'm a huge dark chocolate fan. 20 grams of this. We're also going to be using this Walden Farms. It's a chocolate syrup, and this is kind of actually optional. It has no calories, fat, carbs, gluten, or sugars of any kind is what it says. It's from Walden Farms, and it's just a sweetened chocolate syrup with nothing in it. And for that, we're going to be using 1/4 cup of chocolate syrup. And then we also are going to be doing a big splash of vanilla extract. We're gonna use all these ingredients to make our sweet treats today. So let's go ahead and get them all mixed together and get started. Okay, we need to put this in the microwave, it makes it a little bit easier to mix when it's a little bit softer. So 1 minute for that. We have our chocolate syrup. And a couple of things to mention as well. This Walden Farms chocolate syrup and the VitaFiber, they're not things that you can just find in the store, so you're gonna have to order these online ahead of time, and they do take a little bit to ship in. So I recommend getting a larger quantity of them so that you can make several batches, because you're gonna wanna make more because these are so delicious. All right, big splash of vanilla. There we go. Okay, let's grab our vitamin. Pour that on in there. And it's much more melty now. Our PB2. Our dark chocolate cocoa powder. And that is everything. Now we're gonna go ahead and mix this all together. Oh, I almost forgot the protein powder. That's like the most important part. Okay. So we're gonna put 11 scoops of protein powder in it. So to get this all mixed, I'm going to use this big bad boy blender right here. Greg Doucette mixes his with his hand, and these are incredibly sticky. And for a tiny little girl like me with tiny little baby muscles that are just getting started, I cannot possibly mix those. So I'm definitely going to need some extra help. Okay, that's locked in place. And I'm gonna mix it. I was gonna mix it slow to start off so the powder doesn't fly out everywhere. It's okay, a little mess never hurt nobody. Okay, so they're mixing all together and it's getting super, super sticky now. I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit. Until it looks like it's mixed up pretty good. All right, I think that'll do it. I'm gonna turn that off. It smells delicious. Chocolate and peanut buttery. So good. All right. To put these in the freezer, you are going to want these little silicone flexible trays. I have tried putting these in containers with parchment paper. I will use, since I only have one silicone container, I will use this little container to put the remaining, because I know how much I need, with some parchment paper. But the parchment paper is still a little hard to get off of these freshly sticky protein bars. So these little silicone cups are the way to go. I have also tried putting directly into a glass pan some non-stick spray and then putting these in here, and that does not work. They stick really, really, really bad. So you are definitely going to want these little silicone trays. So make sure before you make these, you have your silicone trays, you order your VitaFiber, and you order your chocolate syrup. You're gonna have to get these 3 things offline for sure. ahead and get these out. And we're going to put this delicious sticky goodness into our tray now. And as you can see, it's super sticky and messy. It's probably gonna make a little bit of a mess. That's okay. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure that these are nice and all filled up. And I don't want to waste any of this. Okay, almost good. Okay. All right, now we're gonna put our candy pieces on top. I have a couple of options that I like to use. I like to use these little crushed up bits. They're already crushed up and they're kind of a little salty and a little sweet, so they add that little saltiness. And you're just gonna sprinkle just a tiny bit on top. I'm gonna do half and half. I can't wait to eat these. I haven't made a batch of these in a little while, so I'm really excited to have one again later today. Perfect. Okay, and then on the other half, my absolute favorite is to put some dark chocolate chips on top, because like I said earlier, I love dark chocolate. And I think this just pairs really well with these, and it like gives it a really good crunch on top too. So it gives you something good to chew on. So I'm just gonna put some of these on top of these ones. Okay, cool. All right, and there we have it. Our delicious, yummy protein bars. We're gonna put them into the freezer and we will come back and check on them in just a couple hours. All right guys, we just got back from the gym and the protein bars are nice and super hard and frozen now, and we're going to pop one out and try it. I also have one of Greg Doucette's original recipe protein bars with the protein powder that he recommends to use. Like I said before, this protein powder is a little too sweet for my personal preference, and it's super, super, super hard in the protein bars, which Greg Doucette likes. But it's just a little too hard for me. I like mine a little bit more on the chewy side. As you can see, it's like as hard as a rock. Okay, we're gonna pop out one of these dark chocolate chip ones. Oh yeah. And see how easily that pops out of these little silicone trays? And let's take a bite. You can see it's a little bit more soft and chewy. That was a big bite. Oh my gosh. These are so amazing. It's like chewy, kind of like a cold Tootsie Roll. And it just has this amazing chocolate peanut buttery taste. And I love the chocolate chips on top because it just adds this crunch to the top of it. So it gives you something a little bit more to chew on instead of the whole entire protein bar being really, really hard. This definitely satisfies that sweet craving that you're gonna have, especially when you're on any diet, watching your calories. This is a great treat to eat, nice and cold. It is absolutely amazing. You guys have to try these.